So even though I am desperately wanting a standalone Namor movie, it doesn't seem like it will be something that's easy for Marvel to do based off of who owns what and rights and stuff. So let's get into it. So this article from The Wrap says, why Wakanda Forever villain Namor won't get his own standalone Marvel movie. Let's skip around here. Marvel Studios doesn't actually control the character. The situation around Namor harkens back to the pre-Marvel Studios, pre-Disney era of making movies out of Marvel comics characters. Before the studio streamlined and controlled intellectual property. Before Marvel Studios made Iron Man as its own independently produced film, the company was in the habit of licensing or selling off rights to characters to other studios. The X-Men went to Fox, Spider-Man went to Sony, etc. And Namor is one of those characters that is still controlled by another studio. So it's not that Namor won't be back in the MCU as Black Panther Wakanda Forever producer Nate Moore confirmed to The Wrap. He can return, but Disney won't be able to produce a standalone movie about the character. Well, Namor's situation is similar to Marvel Studios' deal with Universal for Hulk. Neither can star in his own movie, neither Namor or Hulk, because Universal Pictures has the rights to both characters. And he can't appear by himself in marketing materials unless it's part of a series of posters. We spoke to Black Panther Wakanda Forever producer Nate Moore about the situation, and he acknowledged that Namor was borrowed like the Hulk. He said it honestly affects us more in how we market the film than it does how we use him in the film. There weren't really things we could do from a character perspective for him, which is good because clearly we took a ton of inspiration from the source material, but we also made some big changes to really anchor him in a world, in a truth that publishing never really landed on, I would argue, in a big way. So back in the late 1990s when Marvel was facing bankruptcy, the company established Marvel Studios, then run by Chairman CEO Stan Lee, RIP, and President Avi Arad. A contemporaneous Variety report from the time said that Marvel has scattered most of its heroes at studios all over town by licensing the use of its characters to various studios for a fee. When asked about the character Namor in 2013, Marvel Studios president and its grand engineer, Kevin Feige, said Universal still owned the rights and therefore he wouldn't be appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Since then, there has been a lot of confusion with conflicting reports about who exactly owned the character or aspects of the character. On the eve of the Disney/Fox merger in 2018, Feige acknowledged confusion around Namor. I think there's a way to probably figure it out, but it does have it's not as clean or clear as the majority of the other characters. A few months later, Feige said there was a way for the character to appear in the MCU. Universal still held distribution rights. So this kind of complicated maneuvering isn't new to Marvel Studios. Universal's control of the Hulk has meant that no Hulk standalone movie or series could be developed at Marvel, even though his stature has only grown in the years since Mark Ruffalo started playing the character in 2012's The Avengers, the one Hulk-centered movie released within the MCU continuity. 2008's The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton was distributed by Universal. So yes, you will see Namor make a splash again with the partnership between Universal and Marvel Studios continuing swimmingly. Whatever. So yeah, there you have it, folks. The whole rights situation. Marvel was going through a tough time, child. Marvel said, girl, we are going under. They were bidding off their characters. They were like, girl, Sony wants Spider-Man, Universal want Hulk, all these girls, Universal also want Namor. Which one you want? Which one you want? And they said, bitch, we gonna make it out somehow. I mean, and they did, right? And they did. And now they're in the era of getting all those back or working through deals and stuff. So I just really think that we deserve a standalone Namor movie. I don't know how they can make that happen. I don't know if they can, but I think we deserve it. The first thing that popped into my head when I thought about a Namor standalone movie was a fucking sickening, amazing prequel. Like, establish, you could go back to his origins, because we kind of sped over it in Black Panther 2, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Like, just gave us an overview of, like, you know, his mom's story and how he came into being and his age, Namor's age and all that shit. Like, so if we could get a movie really diving deep into his origins, that would be amazing. Like, seeing even more of Talocan would be so cool. But as of right now, it seems like he's just going to be in the picture with other characters. Like, it doesn't, that's what it seems like. At least from what I read and from what I'm understanding that they're saying. You could also do, like, there's this story called, or there's this character called Naga, in this like serpent crown story where Namor went up against this character, and this character had like reptilian features. And the serpent crown was something that was a vessel for this god named Set's power. Like, it's just, there's so many stories that we could really hone in on. But if they do want to wait, for the introduction of the Fantastic Four and stuff, and then maybe they can sort out the rights. I don't know how that would happen, but Namor went up against the Fantastic Four many times, or in the history of the comics and stuff. Namor was also a vessel for the Phoenix Force at one point, alongside other characters, I think simultaneously, right? But yeah, that's it. That's a really cool story that they could tell. I think he was possessed by the Phoenix Force when he flooded Wakanda out in the comics, though. So I don't know. They're gonna have to move some shit around, and also they haven't introduced the Phoenix Force in the MCU at all, really. So I mean, that's another thing. That's another thing that could happen, and also, Namor just wreaks havoc on the surface world, period. Like, especially in the older comics, and where pollution was a big part of his story, his arcs. He was absolutely pissed at the surface world sometimes, when they was just fucking up his environment, fucking up his underground kingdom with they fucking pollution, they bullshit. And he came up there to really drag them girls sometimes. So I just think that there's so many different possibilities that you could take with this character. But I absolutely hate that every time we get a good thing going, these fucking rights and bullshit and companies, you know, moving all this shit around and paperwork and lawyers and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, girl, move out my way. We trying to have fun over here. Like, we trying to nerd out. We trying to get our favorite characters and anti-heroes and villains and whatever, and heroes. We're trying to get them on the screen. Like, oh, you businessmen and y'all suits and shit ruin everything. No, but you know, it's kind of frustrating, because obviously it's like, it's not Marvel's fault, but it's Marvel's doing. But they had to save themselves. Like, bitch, they was going under. So they're like, who wants a piece of this pie? Like, who wants it? As long as you write that check, and as long as that check clears, you can have it. But it's frustrating a little bit when you're just like, damn, a cool prequel. I think just establishing Namor even more in this really nice prequel would be fun. Like, get the girls up. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think that would you like for Namor's next movie to be just a solo, like a standalone one? Or do you think, I mean, it's probably not gonna happen, like, given what I just read and said, or would you want him to just keep establishing himself more and more as, like, I don't want to say side characters, but like a side character in some of these movies, and then establish a solo one, a standalone one? But I don't know. I feel like if they got the rights back to Spider-Man, they got all this shit back, like we doing a Fox merger, I feel like they could ask, you know, they could get Namor shit back. Like, what's up? So yeah, I don't think Thanos Huerta is going anywhere, right? So I don't know. Hopefully they sort that shit out so we can get our movie. Like, stop playing with me. But yeah, thank y'all so much for checking out the video, and I'll catch y'all later.